Hello everyone, we will announce the world's one and only real-time music chart, HANTEO Charts weekly physical album chart starting now. This is your host Joe, and if you're curious about K-pop album sales, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. Go ahead and take a look at the weekly physical album chart rankings of the first week of August. Starting with the 10th place of HANTEO Charts weekly physical album chart of the first week of August, the 10th place was taken by SF9. Their album, Glorious, was sold 6,162 copies in the last week. Recently, they have been selected as the models for a cosmetic brand from the US called Body Fantasy. I think the name is very apt given that their fandom name is fantasy. And the brand itself also said that the SF9's various and also a very fresh image goes really well with the brand, so thus selected as the models of this brand. And they are releasing a couple of new lineups for the fragrance as well as other body products, so check it out if you're an SF9 fan. And that was in the 10th place of HANTEO Charts weekly physical album chart of first week of August, SF9's Glorious, that was sold 6,162 copies in the last week. Moving on to the 9th place of HANTEO Charts weekly physical album chart of first week of August. The 9th place was taken by Lee Jin-hyuk. His album Slash was sold 6,528 in the last week. The recent news for Lee Jin-hyuk is that he was playing a role in a TV drama show called Hanging On. It's a sitcom. It's like a family sitcom, so it's sort of on the funny side of the TV drama spectrum. And he is playing a character called Jung-shin, and he's been receiving very good reviews with his acting. And this is actually his second career in his acting career. He previously appeared on a show called Find Me in Your Memory, so clearly he's doing very well in terms of his acting career and also with his musical career with his album Splash, placing 9th in HANTEO Charts weekly physical album chart of first week of August. Lee Jin-hyuk's Splash was sold 6,528 copies and placed 9th place in this last week's weekly physical album chart. Moving on to the 8th place of HANTEO Charts weekly physical album chart of first week of August. The 8th place was taken by SANDO. His album, My Little Thoughts, EP1, was sold 6,632 copies in the last week. And this album is consisted only with SANDO's self-composed tracks, and the title track is called Summer Day, Summer Night, and very fitting to the title of this song. The music video features a cool summer sea scene with sort of like a very sweet summer love, and also the music video and the song itself goes really well with SANDO's soft voice. So it's one of the mellower summer songs, so check it out if you haven't already. And he has also revealed that B1A4 will be making a comeback soon through one of the variety shows. So very exciting news. Looking forward to B1A4's comeback, and also we support SANDO's promotion with his the EP called My Little Thoughts that was sold 6,632 copies in the first week of August and placed 8th in the weekly physical album chart. This weekly physical album chart result is presented by HANTEO Chart, the world's one and only real-time music chart. And if you're enjoying this broadcast or interested in K-pop album sales, please subscribe to the channel and also like this video. Moving on to the 7th place of HANTEO Chart's weekly physical album chart of first week of August. The 7th place was taken by erin. Her album Every Letter I Sent You was sold 8,018 copies in the last week. And if you remember, this album was actually released earlier this year in January 13th of 2020. So it's sort of a surprise to see such an album that was released a long time ago moving back on the chart. As you know, this album is a very touching song in a way if you're a fan of Erin, because it's her own letter that's not necessarily addressed to anyone, but it contains all her thoughts since she was 19 to 23. So So it's a very sort of like a diary-like album and did very well in this weekly physical album chart as well. Placed 7th. Big Erin's Every Letter I Sent You, that was sold 8,018 copies in the last week. Moving on to the 6th place of Undercharts weekly physical album chart of first week August. The 6th place was taken by 86. Their album Vivid was sold 9,342 copies in the last week. And their recent news is that on August 3rd, last week, they have ran a mini fan meeting through VLive, on live, and during that meeting, the members talked about what they do in, when they were taking a break or in between the music shows, and they share a lot of fun stories, and you could sort of see the chemistry between the members in the fan meeting. So to check it out if you are a fan. And that was in the 6th place of Undercharts weekly physical album chart of first week of August. 86's Vivid, that was sold 9,342 copies in the last week. Did you know this weekly physical album chart result is brought to you by Undercharts, the world's one and only real-time music chart. And if you have purchased an album last week in order to support your artist, no matter where you are in the world, that album sales has counted towards this week's weekly physical album chart result. Moving on to the 5th place of Undercharts weekly physical album chart of first week of August. The 5th place was taken by Rocket Punch. Their new album, Blue Punch, was sold 9,435 copies in the last week. So the title track of this album is called Juicy, and just like the title itself, it's a very colorful and bouncy song, the music video itself as well, and it's definitely just right for the hot summer weather, so definitely give it a listen if you haven't already. And Rocket Punch is celebrating the first debut anniversary, actually did, on August 7th, and on a broadcast called Rooftop Live, they have celebrated their first year anniversary and also had a time to communicate with the fans in a very fun setting. So yeah, congratulations on the anniversary, and that was in the 5th place of Undercharts weekly physical album chart first week August. Rocket Punch's Blue Punch, that was sold 9,435 copies in the last week. Moving on to the 4th place of Undercharts weekly physical album chart of first week of August. The 4th place was taken by Red Velvet, Erin and Seulgi. Their album Monster was sold 12,735 copies in the last week. The recent news for Erin and Seulgi is that they are currently doing a solo reality program called Level Up Project. You're probably familiar with this show if you are a Red Velvet fan. And on that show, they're doing a collaboration music video with Kim Won-sun, which is a very famous female solo artist in Korea. And so you can look forward to the music video that's going to be released from this collaboration. It's going to be very fun. And that was in the 4th place of Undercharts weekly physical album chart of first week of August. Red Velvet, Erin Seulgi's Monster, that was sold 12,735 copies in the last week. Moving on to the 3rd place of Undercharts weekly physical album chart of first week of August. The 3rd place was taken by ATEEZ. Their album Zero Fever Part 1 was sold 56,112 copies in the last week. Since their release of last Wednesday, so their initial Chodong sales period was just over in the, last Wednesday, and they have recorded the sales amount of 233,399 copies during that period, meaning that they have sold that amount during the first week of the sales. That is also equivalent to about a 3 times growth compared to the previous album. So it definitely shows how much the group has grown, and also the fandom base has grown during the past 6 months. And they have also won a couple of music shows during the first week promotion period. So looking forward to their continuing promotion the coming weeks as well. And that was in the 3rd place of Undercharts weekly physical album chart of first week of August. ATEEZ Zero Fever Part 1 album that was sold 56,112 copies in the last week. We're only left with 2 albums of this week, and this weekly physical album chart result is brought to you by HANTEO Chart, the world's one and only real-time music chart. If you're enjoying this broadcast or interested in learning about K-pop album sales, please subscribe to the channel and also like this video. On to the second place of HANTEO Chart's weekly physical album chart of first week of August. The second place was taken by G-idle. Their new single album, Dum Dee Dum Dee, was sold 94,587 copies in the last week. And since it's a single album, its title track is also called Dum Dee Dum Dee, and the music video shows the members it starts with the members being sort of very bored in their daily lives, but it ends up being all the members coming together and having a really fun party, several parties actually, and it goes really well with the summer, of course, and the song itself sings G-idle's own summer and youth. So very exciting single, and considering that it's a single, it also did very well in terms of the first week sales. 94,587 copies sold in the last week. G-idle's Dum Dee Dum Dee placed second place in HANTEO Chart's weekly physical album chart of first week of August. Moving on to the first place, the top 1 of HANTEO Chart's weekly physical album chart of first week of August. The first place was taken by Kang Daniel. His album Magenta was sold 323,167 copies in the last week. And this was also his initial children record, meaning the first week of release sales. And he obviously did much better than the previous album as well, so he's continuously making a growth. The title track of this album, Magenta, is called Who You Are, and like the title, it sings about seeking oneself and like trying to understand and really try to express oneself through the song. And I think Kang Daniel always sings about like his own stories and looking for his own self. So this is yet another song that goes really well with his theme. And compared to the previous album, and I think this title track is especially powerful and also sort of has almost a dark feeling to it. So it's a sort of a new song for Kang Daniel and Daddies as well. And that was in the first place of HANTEO Chart's weekly physical album chart. First week of August, Kang Daniel's Magenta, that was sold 323,167 copies in the last week. So that was everybody on the top 10 of HANTEO Chart's weekly physical album chart of first week of August. All the artists and the albums, they're amazing, so definitely check them out if you haven't already. And congratulations to all the artists who did amazingly well in the last week. And if you're curious about how many new albums will be coming up next week and do well on the music charts, definitely check out our app called WhosFan. It has all the album charts and also star charts and global charts that the fans, you guys, are participating. For the star charts, you can do some promotions on the app, do some fun activities, leave comments, supporting messages, read articles, watch videos, and all that. And that counts towards the star chart. And for the global authentication chart, you purchase your albums and authenticate your albums, and that counts towards that chart as well. So there are several charts that you can check out, and also there are a lot of fun voting and events going on always on WhosFan, so participate in those as well. And also, please subscribe to the WhosfanTV channel and like this video, and we will continue to report on the weekly ongoings and chart result as well. And that's everything that we have this week. Thank you for watching as always, and this was your host, Jo. See you next week, everyone. Bye.